Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was pleased to hear the chairman say he doesn't want to waste taxpayer money, and I'm confident he will therefore want to support my amendment. My amendment would basically eliminate Section 1650 in the bill, which requires yet another study on the ground-based strategic deterrent. The majority must be aware of the multitude of studies that have already been completed on this subject, including the Air Force's analysis of alternatives, studies that look at sustaining the ICBM force beyond the end of the Minuteman service life in 2030. Perhaps the majority hasn't read the conclusions in that exhaustive analysis, in which the Air Force weighed several alternatives, including options to accomplish a service life extension of Minuteman III, a complete replacement of both Minuteman III and silo infrastructure, and a hybrid which would mix the existing infrastructure with a new missile. The majority seems also to have overlooked the most recent 2018 National Defense Strategy, which highlights our increasingly aggressive adversaries, all of whom are seeking or expanding long-range missile capabilities. They are also apparently ignoring the last 4 nuclear posture reviews written under both Republican and Democratic administrations, all of which assert the foundational requirement for the triad and our absolute need to modernize our aging nuclear system. But the majority seems not to be familiar with these conclusions, and they've ignored the millions of dollars already spent analyzing alternatives because they're seeking yet another report. I would like to ask that the majority consider the stack of reports that we have here, all of which have been completed within the last 4 years, all of which have the same conclusion, which is that the most cost-effective approach is to procure the ground-based strategic deterrent. It, in fact, is far more expensive than trying to keep the aging Minuteman III on alert. This committee ought to debate these issues. We ought to debate whether or not we should move forward on a whole range of topics. But to simply add another report requirement of an issue that has been studied ad nauseum is simply, I would say, an illegitimate way to address the issue and clearly a waste of taxpayer money. It's absolutely clear we need a modern, safe, credible, effective nuclear triad. If you support that, you should support my amendment. I urge the committee to support this amendment, not impose yet another report requirement, waste yet more taxpayer dollars, but move to keep the GBSD program on schedule, on budget, and not adopt yet one more superfluous report requirement of something that has already been studied. So I'd like to ask unanimous consent to enter all of these reports into the record and ask that the committee adopt my amendment and strike Section 1650 from the markup. Thanks.